接下来我想跟各位准备介绍第二个这个影片。第二个影片呢是随时认真的小设计思想。那刚刚我们有谈到的是大的设计，那现在这个是小的设计。可是我为什么又把小设计又变成后面加一个思想呢？是有原因的。意思是说，通常我们都喜欢觉得一种东西做起来如果很大的话，它大概很重要；一种东西做起来如果很小的话，它大概很不重要。但是我们通常忽略掉世界的改变都是一点一滴的被改变的。世界的改变很少是一个结构性的大变化，有，但是很少。所以我们来看一下这一支影片所讲的人的一个背景。IDEO 是一家公司，它的公司呢大概500-600人吧。创立的时间不长，1996年左右才创立的，在美国。那世界上现在有几个地方有他们的公司。我为什么特别介绍一下这个公司呢？因为这个公司的这个创意总监是这一次讲的主讲人。但是更重要的呢是，我想让大家了解这个公司的管理。那么通常我们都在谈到这个创意的时代、设计的时代来临，但是很少有人真的认真愿意去想，当一个创意跟设计的时代来临的时候，这样的公司怎么管？怎么管得动啊？那通常大家的结论就是说，设计师很难管，所以不要管。那设计师如果很难管，不要管，那为什么需要开一家公司呢？他为什么需要变成一家公司呢？为什么你不把它散装在各地，然后叫大家有东西交来看看呢？显然，它需要是一个形式上的合作才能够开起来。所以，今天我在放影片之前呢，先介绍一下他们是什么人。那他们公司的网站上面呢，特别告诉这个去看网站的人说，他们是在创造影响力，通过设计去创造影响力 ，create impact through design。那我们通常都觉得，哇，如果我要有 impact， 要有影响力，这个 design 大概是要一个什么很大的东西。其实有很多的 impact 是从很小的改变造成的。那他们说他们是一个 global 的 design consultancy， 就是设计顾问的团队，他们创造 impact through design 是这样的一个概念。在他们的网站上面，各位如果有兴趣，可以上去多花点时间看。我简单的介绍一下，他们谈到他们有这个从1978年开始，他们就到现在有1000个这个 patent 就专利。那刚刚我不是讲说1990几年才成立，1990几年的时候是3家不错的设计公司合起来变成叫做 IDEO。在这个之前，他们其实都各自几个老板都各自有公司，其中有一位创办人是斯坦福的教授。这个3500次，在2007年的时候，他们做了3500次的这个到街头去做访问。那3500次，365天，大概就是一天将近10次的到街头去访问。这个 field interviews 就是说我到街上去访查，或者不管是到街上还是到医院里到哪里去，反正就是去实地的去勘察。他们吃掉 M&M 的巧克力672磅一年。那他们这个一年里面打了10000次的 conference call， 不是10000次电话，而是电话会议开了10000次。他们从1991年开始得到345个奖。他们的领域很宽阔，所以这个如果对设计产业有兴趣的人，你倒是可以去看看这家公司。 你可以看这上面，他们什么东西都在设计，什么东西都在设计。他们最新的一个，而且生意最好的一个生意的这个范围呢，就是在做帮人家设计管理的模式。所以设计业可以开到变成说，我现在不设计东西了，我现在是设计这个公司应该怎么管理。所以他们现在做很多公司的管理的顾问。那你一定会觉得很奇怪，为什么一个设计公司发展到最后变成管理顾问？那就是我们从第一堂课就开始讲，21世纪是一个设计的时代，所以任何企业家他不懂设计，这个企业就准备关门。所以企业家必须要等于设计家。这位 Paul Bennett， 他是一个设计师，他是 IDEO 的 Creative Director。他今天要跟我们分享的是 Design is in the details， 设计是在细部里面，在细节里面。我们来看看他怎么说。
Hello. Actually, that's hello in Bauer Bodoni for the typographically hysterical amongst us. One of the threads that seems to have come through loud and clear in the last couple of days is this need to reconcile what the big wants, the big being the organization, the system, the country, and what the small wants, the individual, the person, and how do you bring those two things together? Charlie Ledbetter yesterday, I thought, talked very articulately about this need to bring consumers, to bring people into the process of creating things. And that's what I want to talk about today. So bringing together the small to help facilitate and create the big, I think is something that we believe in, something I believe in, and something that we kind of bring to life through what we do at IDEO. I call this first chapter, for the Brits in the room, the blinding glimpse of the bleeding obvious. Often the good ideas are so staring at you right in the face that you kind of miss them. And I think a lot of times what we do is just sort of hold the mirror up to our clients and sort of go, duh, look what's really going on. And rather than talk about it in the theory, I think I'm just going to show you an example. We were asked by a large healthcare system in Minnesota to describe to them what their patient experience was. And I think they were expecting, they'd worked with lots of consultants before, I think they were expecting some kind of hideous org chart with thousands of bubbles and systemic this, that, and the other, and all kinds of mind-mappy stuff. Or even worse, some kind of ghastly death by PowerPoint thing with wow charts and all kinds of, God knows whatever. The first thing we actually shared with them was this. I'll play this until your eyeballs completely dissolve. This is 59 seconds into the film. This is 1:59. 3 minutes 19. I think something happens. I think a head may appear in a second. 5 minutes 10. 5 minutes 58. 6 minutes 20. We showed them the whole cut, and they were all completely, what is this? And the point is, when you lie in a hospital bed all day, all you do is look at the...
他们是这样去做调查的，就派一个人去躺在床上，客户不是叫他要调查说，怎么样子改善我们的病人的经验。他说我们不给他做一个 PowerPoint 的简报，不做很复杂的分析表。我们只做一件事，就派一个人去躺在床上，然后拿一个摄影机这样子，然后就是刚刚那个拍出来的影片。
All you do is look at the roof, and it's a really shitty experience. And just putting yourself in the position of the patient, this is Christian who works with us at IDEO, he just lay in the hospital bed and kind of stared at the polystyrene ceiling tiles for a really long time. That's what it's like to be a patient in the hospital. And they were sort of, blinding glimpse of bleeding obvious, oh my goodness. So looking at the situation from the point of view of the person out, as opposed to the traditional position of the organization in, was for these guys quite a revelation. And so that was a really catalytic thing for them. So they snapped into action. They said, okay, it's not about systemic change. It's not about huge, ridiculous things that we need to do. It's about tiny things that can make a huge amount of difference. So we started with them prototyping some really little things that we could do to have a huge amount of impact. The first thing we did was we took a little bicycle mirror and we band-aided it here onto a gurney, a hospital trolley, so that when you were wheeled around by a nurse or by a doctor, you could actually have a conversation with them. You could kind of see them in your rear-view mirror.
各位不晓得有没有看出来，这是一个轮椅，这是一个椅背，所以如果有个病人坐在这里，你在后面推他的时候，他通常要跟你讲话，那个推的人要这样子讲，那他要这样子，所以如果他就是去绑一个脚踏车的后照镜，就把它绑在前面。他就可以直接这样，他们就可以边推边讲。那这种设计很了不起吗？没有。可是如果你是一个身体已经很难过的病人，或者是你是一个每一天要推100多个人的护士，它就是一个很大的进步。所以这里他要举的例子是说，像 IDEO 这样子的公司，他们并不是拿到一个设计的委托以后，就准备要去做一个什么很了不起的大改变。他从小小的真正被需求的东西去做改变，那像这种东西其实是几乎收不到设计费的，对不对？说这样就好了啊。
So it created a tiny human interaction, a very small example of something that they could do. Interestingly, the nurses themselves sort of snapped into action, said, okay, we embrace this, what can we do? The first thing they did was they decorated the ceiling, which I thought was, I showed this to my mother recently. I think my mother now thinks that I'm some sort of interior decorator, is what I do for a living, sort of Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen. Not particularly the world's best design solution for those of us who are real sort of hardcore designers, but nonetheless, a fabulous empathic solution for people. Things that they started doing themselves, like changing the floor going into the patient's room so that it signified this is my room, this is my personal space, was a really interesting sort of design solution to the problem. So you went from public space to private space. And another idea, again, that came from one of the nurses, which I love, was they took traditional sort of corporate whiteboards and they put them on one wall of the patient's room and they put this sticker there, so that what you could actually do was go into the room and write messages to the person who was sick in that room, which was lovely. So tiny, tiny, tiny solutions that made a huge amount of impact.
Really nice. 像这样子的一个东西，就是在医院的病床的前面挂一个白板，所以如果有人来，你在睡觉的时候，他留个纸条给你，贴一个这个东西给你，所以或者是早上起来的时候看到昨天晚上这个陪你的这个家人出去买早餐，贴了一个纸条给你。是不是都是一种非常温馨的做法？它需要成本吗？它不需要。它很麻烦吗？没有。它有改变整个组织架构吗？没有。可是它有被病人感受到吗？有。病人这种感受会不会让他对这个医院的感情增进呢？有。这种叫做设计。
I thought that was a really, really nice example. So this is not particularly a new idea, kind of seeing opportunities in things that are around you and kind of snapping and turning them into a solution. There's a history of invention based around this. I'm going to read this because I want to get these names right. Joan Gantz Cooney saw her daughter, came down on a Saturday morning, saw her daughter watching the test card, waiting for programs to come on one morning, and from that came Sesame Street. Malcolm McLean was moving from one country to another and was wondering why it took these guys so long to get the boxes onto the ship, and he invented the shipping container. George de Mistral, this is not bugs all over a Birkenstock, was walking his dog in a field and got covered in burrs, sort of little prickly things, and from that came Velcro. And finally, for the Brits, Percy Shaw, this is a big British invention, saw the cat's eyes at the side of the road when he was driving home one night. And from that came the cat's eye. So there's a whole series of just using your eyes, seeing things for the first time, seeing things afresh, and using that as an opportunity to create new possibilities. Second one, without sounding overly zen, this is a quote from the Buddha: finding yourself in the margins, looking to the edges of things is often a really interesting place to start. Blinkered vision tends to produce, I think, blinkered solutions. So looking wide, using your peripheral vision, is a really interesting place to look for opportunity. Again, another medical example here. We were asked by a device producer. We did the Palm Pilot and the Trio. We did a lot of sexy tech at IDEO. They'd seen this and they wanted a sexy piece of technology for medical diagnostics. This was a device that a nurse uses when they're doing a spinal procedure in hospital. They asked the nurses to input data, and they had this vision of the nurse kind of clicking away on this aluminum device and it all being incredibly sort of gadget-lustish. When we actually went and watched this procedure taking place, and I'll explain this in a second, it became very obvious that there was a human dimension to this that they really weren't recognizing. When you're having a 4-inch needle inserted into your spine, which was the procedure that this device's data was about, was for pain management, you're shit scared, you're freaking out. And so the first thing that pretty much every nurse did was hold the patient's hand to comfort them, human gesture, which made the fabulous two-handed data input completely impossible. So the thing that we designed, much less sexy, but much more human and practical, was this. So it's not a Palm Pilot by any stretch of the imagination, but it has a thumb scroll, so you can do everything with one hand. So again, going back to this, the idea that a tiny human gesture dictated the design of this product, and I think that's really, really important. So again, this idea of workarounds, we use this phrase workarounds, sort of looking around us. I was actually looking around at TED and just watching all of these kind of things happen while I've been here. This idea of the way that people cobble together solutions in our life and the things we kind of do in our environment that are somewhat subconscious but have huge potential is something that we look at a lot. We wrote a book recently, I think you might have received it, called Thoughtless Acts, and it's been all about these kind of thoughtless things that people do which have huge intention and huge opportunity. Why do we all follow the line in the street? This is a picture in a Japanese subway. People consciously follow things even though why, we don't know. Why do we line up the square milk carton with the square fence? Because we kind of have to. We're just compelled to. We don't know why, but we do. Why do we wrap the tea bag string around the cup handle? Again, we're sort of using the world around us to create our own design solutions. And we're always saying to our clients, you should look at this stuff. This stuff is really important. This stuff is really vital. This is people designing their own experiences. You can draw from this. We sort of assume that because there's a pole in the street that it's okay to use it. So we park our shopping cart there. It's there for our use on some level. So we sort of co-opt our environment to do all these different things. We co-opt other experiences. We take one item and transfer it to another. And this is my favorite one. My mother used to say to me, just because your sister jumps in a lake doesn't mean you have to. But of course we all do. We all follow each other every day, so somebody assumes that because somebody else has done something, that's permission for them to do the same thing. And there's almost this sort of semaphore around us all the time. I mean, shopping bag equals parking meter out of order, and we all kind of know how to read these signals now, and we all kind of talk to one another in this highly visual way without realizing what we're doing. Third section is this idea of not knowing, of consciously putting yourself backwards. I talk about unthinking situations all the time, sort of having beginner's mind, scraping your mind clean, and sort of looking at things afresh. A friend of mine was a designer at IKEA, and he was asked by his boss to help design a storage system for children. This is the Billy bookcase. It's IKEA's biggest selling product. Hammer it together with a shoe if you're me, because they're impossible to assemble. But big selling bookcase, how do we replicate this for children? The reality is when you actually watch children don't think about things like storage in linear terms. Children assume permission in a very different way. Children live on things, they live under things, they live around things. And so that their spatial relationship and their thinking around storage is totally different. So the first thing you have to do, this is Graham, the designer, is sort of put yourself in their shoes. And so here he is, sitting under the table. So what came out of this? This is the storage system that he designed. So what is this? I hear you all ask. No, I don't. it's this, and I think this is a particularly lovely solution. So, it's a totally different way of looking at the situation. It's a completely empathic solution, apart from the fact that Teddy's probably not loving it. But a really nice way of reframing the ordinary, and I think that's one of the things, and putting yourself in the position of the person, and I think that's one of the threads that I've heard again from this conference, is how do we put ourselves in other people's shoes and really feel what they feel, and then use that information to fuel solutions, and I think that's what this is very much about.
我小时候第一次了解，说原来世界大家都这样做的事情，你没有那样做不一定是你错，就是我开始看到棒球手套有右手的手套，专门给左手的人用。那各位现在在看，也许觉得这个不稀奇，可是要知道，我小学的时候在丢棒球的时候，那个是几十年前，那个时候在台湾是不太可能有那么多经济的条件去有各种选择，所以当你是一个左撇子，你要打棒球的时候，你知道我们是怎么打的吗？是把人家，因为棒球是用右手丢嘛，左手接球，对不对？那左手接球的大拇指在这边，所以那个时候，如果你不幸是一个左投，然后你的右手要接的时候，你是把手套就直接套在人家小拇指，就是套在他的大拇指变成在这一边，你就这样硬套上去，这样接，你也是接得很高兴。只是他会觉得说是我不对，因为我是左撇子。但是事实上，从刚刚的这些例子里面来看，就是说，如果你考虑到每一个人，你就可以设计出来很多像刚刚那个小孩子的储藏。小孩子确实是跟小狗一样嘛，他们的高度就是那么高。我还记得麦当劳第一次很多年以前，麦当劳刚刚来台湾的时候的第一家店，我帮他们设计的第二家店的时候，他们给我们做了一个简单的介绍，希望我们做设计的时候，要把我们的眼睛的高度，我们通常已经学过设计的人都知道，眼睛的高度大概在150吧，大概。但是他希望我们把眼睛的高度放在40公分。哎呀，为什么眼睛高度40公分呢？他说，因为小孩才是他们的客人，所以我们都要通通要这样做设计。那这样做设计，其实桌面下变成桌面，就是你通常觉得无所谓的地方就变成有所谓。那个地方其实都是小孩子看到的。如果他看到的都是一些好像随便定一定的，那他就会觉得这个地方的环境跟他的印象就直接跟那个乱七八糟的桌子下面连起来。可是如果他好好的坐桌子下面，等到他的眼睛慢慢的长高到桌子以上的时候，他也会觉得那个地方在他记忆中是一个很美好的东西，不是一个不好的地方。所以这个就是他。
Last section, green armbands, you've all got them, is about this, really. I mean, it's about picking battles big enough to matter but small enough to win. Again, that's one of the themes that I think has come through loud and clear in this conference, is where do we start? How do we start? What do we do to start? So again, we were asked to design a water pump for a company called Apratech in Kenya. They're now called Kickstart. And again, as designers, we wanted to make this thing incredibly beautiful and spend a lot of time thinking of the form, and that was completely irrelevant. When you put yourself in the position of these people, things like the fact that this has to be able to fold up and fit on a bicycle become much more relevant than the form of it. The way it's produced, it has to be produced with indigenous manufacturing methods and indigenous materials. So it had to be looked at completely from the point of view of the user. We had to completely transfer ourselves over to their world. So what seems like a very clunky product is in fact incredibly useful. It's powered a bit like a Stairmaster. You pump up and down on it. Children can use it, adults can use it, everybody uses it. It's turning these guys, one of the themes, it's turning them into entrepreneurs. These guys are using this and very successful. And for us, it's been great because it won loads of design awards. So we actually managed to reconcile the needs of the design company, the needs of the individuals in the company to feel good about a product we were actually designing, and the needs of the individuals that we were designing it for. Here it is, pumping water from 30 feet. So, as a final gesture, we handed out these bracelets to all of you this morning. We've made a donation on everybody's behalf here to kickstart, no pun intended, their next project. Because again, I think sort of putting our money where our mouth is here, we feel that this is an important gesture. So we've handed out bracelets, small as the new big. I hope you'll all wear them. So that's it. Thank you.
好，我们刚刚看了他说的这个设计要从小的细节开始，我相信各位同学应该都会有很深的体会。我开始在说明几段设计的概念，请大家先环顾一下这个教室。这个教室也许对你来说是刚刚今天才进来，因为我们平常都在隔壁那一间。不过你环顾一下这个教室，你感受一下，你发现到你可以做的小的设计，或者是小的疑问。做设计最重要的就是要会在脑袋里面打一个问号，是说，为什么它是这样？它的逻辑在哪里？它为什么会变成这样？所以，请大家开始在脑袋里面思考这个问题。等一下，我从后面问回来。那我先往下讲，大家就可以有一点时间来想这个问题。刚刚的那位先生呢，他说，通常不是最大的 idea 会产生最大的影响力，通常是小的、个人化的，甚至是很私密的 idea 才会产生影响力。这个确实是如此。所以不是 not biggest ideas， 不是这些大的 idea 会有 impact， 是 small, personal and intimate。所以这个也是一个很重要的话，各位同学可以把它记起来。因为大跟小，通常我们都迷恋大，然后忽视小，但是其实小是很重要的。我常常开玩笑，我不晓得我有没有跟各位同学讲过，像我的公司的网站都没有花钱去买任何这个网站的排名，但是我们在搜寻引擎上，只要有人搜寻这个我们的网站，我们永远是排在第一个。为什么？各位有没有想过？是因为我们流量很多吗？所以在 Google 上面就自动排到第一个去吗？不是，是我们一登上去以后就自动排在第一个。原因是因为我们的公司叫做大小，很少有人把公司取名叫小，大家都希望变成大，很少有人变成小。所以当你的字叫做大小的时候，你自然一搜寻大小就是你，因为没有别人。所以小通常大家都很害怕，那觉得说小就是代表不够，那不足，其实不是，小就是所有事情的开始，它才有机会变成影响。那 IDEO 为什么会成功？如果各位在网络上看，会看到很多的这种这个杂志的报道啊，等等媒体的报道啊。这里面有一句话，我从一个作家的部落格去把它挑出来的，很抱歉我忘了把他作家的名字放上去。IDEO 他说 IDEO manages innovation, a very difficult issue, and also has a sustained model。他的意思是说，IDEO 这个公司呢，它管理创新。管理创新是一个非常困难的事情，但是他们不只做到，而且做到可以 sustain， 一直不断的成功的这样子的一个模式。所以我把这句话挑出来的意思是说 ，IDEO 它是管理 innovation， 管理。上次的课程里面，我们谈到说如何去管理一个完全没有组织的团队。 那个时候也谈到管理。所以管理本身不是说当我们都变成不是大公司的时候就不要管理，它更要管理，因为它的管理变成更困难。大公司它用大公司的机制，它有薪水可以控制，它有各种考绩可以控制，它用那样子的办法来控制。可是你在变成是这种新型的组织的时候，你的管理其实就更困难。Very difficult。但是你必须要找出来 sustained model， 这个是任何想要在设计产业里面、创意产业里面成功的人都需要去重视的一句话。所以产业的未来就是管理设计的能力。我们今天在讲产业前瞻，这个前瞻里头很重要的一件事情就是所有的产业你都必须要有管理设计的能力。那很多人都说哦，设计是不能管的，设计是在脑袋里面怎么管？其实它是可以。刚刚 IDEO 的这个创意总监呢，特别提出来说，小处着手是一种很好的开始。他刚刚不是讲说 where to start， 从什么地方开始？他特别提到 small， 就是从小处着手。小处着手为什么是一个非常好的方法呢？我从这里让各位看到这个简单的表，左边呢叫做制造管理。我们台湾的产业特别会制造管理，台湾的产业的制造管理已经是世界一流，不然的话我们不会是这种非常好的机器都是在台湾做，因为我们在管理制造上面非常厉害。管理制造，它管理的是实体的物件，它的流程是线性的，所以这一些部分我们已经都学会，而且在世界上排名非常非常高。但是我们对于设计管理其实不会。那因为设计管理，它管理的东西不是实体的物件，而是管理一种虚拟的思考。设计是一种思考的过程，它不是一个思考的结果，它是一个思考的过程。所以你必须要去管理一种过程，虚拟的过程，而且它的这个流程呢是一个非线性的流程，它并不是一条线说做完想完这个再想这个，想完这个再想这个。想事情是不是这样想？为什么不是这样想？很多人就会逼迫你说，你为什么不想完这件事情再想这个？他忘记了，我们的脑袋不是那样结构的。我们脑袋是同时平行思考、多层次的、多向度的、跳跃的，同时在思考的。所以你没有办法变成线性的思考，你没有办法把脑袋变成是一个机器，或者是说你没有办法把你的脑袋变笨，因为那样的思考是比较笨的。所以你真正要管理设计的时候，你就必须要学会去管理思考。它是虚拟的，你必须要去管理非线的流程，也就是非线性的一种流程。这个是生产从开始到结果，这个是不管它是原料，这个是产品，还是这个开始这个结束，管生产大概是这样的线性，所以它就是一路一路。中间的过程都是可以看得见，所以它就哒哒哒哒这样子过来。但是如果你是管设计，不管你从需求开始，还是你从哪里开始，其实它不会是一条线，它几乎是3个线同时跑出来的。这3个线呢，有的会有想法，有的呢是搞不清楚我现在为什么要想到这里来。所以你有一些发展的快，有一些发展的慢，有一些发展的自己都搞不清楚。我有一个感觉，但是我不知道这个是为什么我要做这件事情。这个通常就是设计产业里面的一个模糊状态。这种模糊状态是非常难管理的。你再往下看，它往这里，它又会回头， 说想到这里，那好像跟这个有关系，好像跟这个有关系，这条线会不会受到影响而变化呢？他可能又因为受到影响，又回到这里，回到这里以后，居然跟原来的一个已经存在的一个东西的线性的前端的东西连接在一起，那这样子的东西呢，又可以产生另外的一个东西。所以其实你看看这一条线多么的单纯，这一条线我是为了要报告给大家听，所以把它换成这样子比较单纯，但是已经比较混乱的一个方法。但是在我们真实的脑袋里面，它是非常非常混乱的。所以这么混乱的东西你怎么能管？但是就算是你不能管，你还是得管。我用这张表来跟大家分享，大概制造管理跟设计管理，它在拓扑上面，就 topology， 就是这个它的你把它放在脑袋里面，如果它是有个样子的话，你就记住这个样子，这个叫做制造管理，点线点点线点，这样子是制造管理。可是设计管理呢是点，然后四面八方到一个虚线，不止这样子。这个很单纯，叫做单维，就是一个向度，线性。这个我称它为多维非线性，因为四面八方它就非线性了，而且这边还会互相飘来飘去。那什么叫做多维呢？它事实上是它事实上是好几个圈圈。意思是说，你在思考的时候，你不只是非线性四面八方，你还有很多个象限的很多个纬度，所以你会在这个层面上思考，你会到另外一个层面上思考，你会在另外一个层面上思考，你会在另外一个层面上思考。所以这就是你如果去看 IDEO 那家公司它的组织结构。他们曾经有一段时间，很多人喜欢谈他们的组织，这个 IDEO 组织曾经有一段变化，就是他开始雇佣跟设计无关的人到他们公司去。他们雇佣了很多社会学家，他们雇佣了很多的不同的这个训练出来的人，比如说音乐，比如说这个简单的讲，就是跟设计完全扯不上关系。他们是用这个方法来增加它的维度。也就是说，当我们在谈一个设计问题的时候，如果都是一个设计训练出来的人的时候，他的基因太像，他们生产出来的小孩其实会有问题，会变笨。这就是 GM。我们刚刚看到的 GM 就是这样，他就变笨了，所以他才会做一个车子。我们刚刚就会想说，他早就做出来了，为什么他还不推？其实还有一个原因，就是他真的变很笨，他推出来的东西不是真正很准。那你要真的很准，就是变成你要用非常不同的人，这个人跟这个人想的东西完全不一样，你要有能力把它结合起来。下一个人他也许是一个经济学家，他想的又是一个不同的东西；再下一个人他也许是一个生物学家，他想的是不同的东西。但是你同时要设计一个婴儿车的时候，我随便举个例子，你要有人叫你设计一个婴儿车，你为什么会用到生物学家呢？你不知道，所以你要用。是不是刚刚他的影片里面有讲说 ，think like a beginner， 就是你把自己放空到变成说我什么都不懂，我开始来想，我什么都不懂开始来想，跟你觉得我是内行人开始来想，那个是完全两回事。因为我什么都不懂，所以有一位生物学家，我请教他有关于婴儿车的问题的时候，他跟我讲的话，我才不会过滤。这样子有没有清楚？意思是说，如果我开始觉得我是专家，我就会开始去过滤。比如说，这位同学他开始，比如你是学什么？景观，好。比如说，我现在有一个室内设计的问题，那我请教你， 结果你开始讲的时候，我如果认为我是室内设计的专家，你讲的东西只要是跟我的原来的习惯的思考不一样，我就会觉得你错，因为我内行，你外行，你景观你关广告，你卖关来对，所以就会变成这样，那个就是错。那何况如果不是景观呢？比如说，如果有一位政治系的同学来，他来谈室内设计的东西的时候，他跟我讲的，我更会不想听。但是是不是那样？不见得哦。所以那个其实就是为什么 IDEO 这个公司我觉得值得介绍，就是因为它不断的放多它的圈圈，它的圈圈变成非常复杂。这也是我在我们自己公司里面对同仁的训练，就是让它变成多层次化。当你的思想能够变成多层次化的时候，你就变成是一种多维思考。多维思考再加上非线性，它才是管理设计的一种关键。很可惜，只是说大部分的人都以为管理就是这样，有原因有结果，单维线性，这个是错的。好，所以这个是适合制造管理，它绝对不适合设计的管理。